Good morning. I'm Lando with Merman Press. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about tobacology. We're going to get back into it and talk about a little bit about pipe maintenance. This is going to be a short one today. So, I want there to be clear. My pipes are not immaculate. Some of these pipes I do not give a shit about, but there is one pipe that I do. Okay, so we're going to talk about grades. Okay, we're going to have the slut pipe. Okay, this one I do not care about losing, dropping, breaking, and if it does break, I might make it into some Frankenstein contraption with a screw that holds everything together, just so I can continue to not care about it. Okay, I like this pipe because it sits flat. That's mainly why it travels with me, and it's short. It's easy to pack. Then your mid-tier. I love this pipe. It's very fun to smoke. I keep it moderately clean, but I don't care about it as much as the next one. This one gets cleaned often enough. Okay, this one, less often than enough. Often enough. I don't care if it gets a little dirty. It shows a little character. But this pipe, I typically smoke one kind of tobacco out. I leave this one for, more flavored tobaccos. I try not to smoke, like an English tobacco out of it. But because it's the middle of the ground, it doesn't get used enough for me to justify, like, hey, this is my X pipe. Okay? This one gets used all the time. And then we'll go to high tier. Okay, high tier is a pipe that was given to me by a good friend, and I love this pipe. It is a little dirty right now, but it is never disgusting like this filthy thing here. Right? It's easy to clean. It's very fun to use. It's very comfortable. I don't clean it every time, but I clean it more than the rest because I want it to last a long time. I don't take this places, and if I do, it's in a very special case and padded and covered and it's very special to me. It's not getting taken by anyone. It's in the equivalent of a vault in a backpack, right? So keep that in mind. You have different grades of pipe you want to clean. There's different things you might use, okay? So first thing, I don't care what grade of pipe you have, regular pipe cleaner, okay? It's just the fuzzy stick around the metal, right, that bends, okay? It'll hold a shape. So typically, I keep these for two things. Pipe gurgle, when you are smoking a pipe and there's moisture in the tobacco from your mouth, the environment, whatever, gathering in the bowl, and you draw air through it, it tends to gurgle. It's not very fun to smoke with because the shank on this one is so short. Sometimes you can actually suck it all the way up into your mouth and it sucks very bad. So you shove this down in there, get the moisture, and pull it right out. And then I typically take the other end and wipe the mouthpiece out. And then continue. Give it a test draw. So the other reason I keep this is when it's done, I use 2 to 3 pipe cleaners cleaning stuff. Typically, my high tier is not going to be as dirty, so 3 is more than enough. And for the slut, this is just, I'm not going to use any more than 2 or 3. It's just the level of clean it is going to be. Okay, so I typically shove a regular one in, okay, to get a majority of the gunk out and to see kind of how bad it needs cleaned. That's very good assessment for this pipe. And this pipe, typically, and I can see the actual channel through the stem of this one. But get the gunk out, and then you use the second type. This is a regular pipe cleaner that has bits of plastic, barbs, woven into the metal, the twisted metal in there, and that acts like a chimney sweep. It's like a big brush. On cheaper pipes, like Dr. Grabo's with softer plastic, these will damage the plastic on the inside. 2 things. You will be pulling kerf, like sawdust, out when you're pulling it out. And when you're moving it back and forth inside the pipe, you're going to be creating grooves where stuff is going to gather, and it will be harder to clean with this. Just word of caution for softer materials. This vinyl on these Savinelli pipes, all 3 of these are Savinelli Italian briar. it doesn't really do much. If you got a microscope, you might see something. But second one, I run this in and out, get it nice and clean, loosen stuff up. I make sure I can see it in the bowl. If I move this through, I can see it in the bowl, right? It goes through the hole. Unless you have a crazy curved one, right? Which that's kind of just a test of patience in itself. I don't typically like really curved pipes. I like the more straight shank. And then I go back through it with one of these. So easy peasy. Now I have something. It's an old wood carving knife that I've had. I don't use the blade, right, to ream. I place the knife inside and run it along the back side of the knife, which I'm pulling plenty of material out right there. So just very soft. I'm not grinding. I'm barely. You can wiggle this on. Barely doing it. Getting enough out. There are special tools like reamers. I don't own one. If I did, I'd probably damage one of my pipes. It sits down in and you just twist it. They're actually really nice to have. I've used one before. But on a pipe nail, on the other end, typically there is a scraper. A pipe nail has a tamper on one end and a scraper on the other. So you can, it looks like a little crack spoon. Okay? So, that in mind, that's just basic maintenance. Okay? You don't need much. You mainly need pipe cleaners and something to not. I don't like the word scrape, to ream the bowl out. That's what you need. Don't scrape. If you're pulling too much material out, you're going to damage the pipe because you still have a fire in there. You're just going to be burning more of that pipe away, and that bowl is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until basically you're smoking out a hole in the side. Okay. Thing about tobaccos. This is just for example, but when you're smoking tobacco and it is a lot more wet or moist, not dry, you are going to be gathering moisture in and around the bits of your pipe, right? Like if I pull this neck off here, see, this goes down into there, and there is a channel. You can see it's gathered moisture there. I still haven't cleaned this one. We'll have a video where we clean them eventually. But the more moist and wet your tobacco is, the more dirty you're going to make it. But smoke what you like. Just keep that in mind. But you don't want to smoke dry tobacco. Like if you go out and gather some of these leaves off the ground and they crinkle, that stuff will damage your pipe very quickly because that fire is burning very, very hot. That cherry is burning very hot. So keep all that in mind when you're smoking. Okay, I know everybody enjoys these Tobacology videos, and I'm going to be getting more into this. This is a big passion of mine. It's a hobby. I love the history of pipe smoking. I love the history of pipe tobacco and tobacco itself. Tobacco itself has a wild history that goes back for eons. And cigars are kind of my thing right now, but for years, pipes were my muse. And I still love pipe smoking. It's the greatest thing ever. So, I'll see you on the next one. All right. Thanks for all your support, guys. I'm going to be rolling these out again soon. I've just been really busy the last couple months. So, stick with me. Okay. Find out what's killing you. Kick its ass. Hug your families. Stay safe. See you in the next one.